This is video number 2 for the checkpoint quiz in 11.8. This would be problem number 2. Want to give the component form of the vector v if the magnitude of v is equal to 4 times the square root of 3. When drawn in standard position, the vector v lies in quadrant number 4 and makes a 30-degree angle with respect to the negative y-axis. This is the geometry. Here's our coordinate system, and it said that the vector in standard position lies in the 4th quadrant, making an angle of 30 degrees with respect to the y-axis. If that angle is 30 degrees, then the complementary angle would be 60 degrees. And from standard position to that angle in the 4th quadrant, theta would equal 300 degrees. So there is our direction angle. The next step is to recall the vector v is the magnitude of vector v times the cosine of that direction angle theta, comma the sine of theta. For this particular problem, vector v is 4 times the square root of 3 times the cosine of 300 degrees, comma the sine of 300 degrees. Vector v is 4 square root of 3 times, and now remember that the cosine of 300 degrees is 1/2. And the sine of 300 degrees is negative square root of 3 over 2. If we compute the scalar multiplication, we find the vector v is 2 times the square root of 3, comma, negative 6. Because 4 square root of 3 times 1/2 cancel out a 2 and get 2 square root of 3, and 4 square root of 3 times negative square root of 3 over 2 gives us negative 6, because you can cancel out the 2, and the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 9, which is 3, and 2 times negative 3 gives that negative 6. Problem number 3 is very similar to problem number 2. Let v be given as 4i minus 3j. Here is the coordinate system, and 4i minus 3j is down in the 4th quadrant, the vector in standard position, vector v. And the goal is to find the direction angle. Theta is between 0 and 360 degrees. One way to do this would be to compute the angle in the 4th quadrant, call that angle alpha. The tangent of alpha is equal to the opposite divided by the adjacent. The tangent of alpha is negative 3 divided by 4. Now computing the inverse tangent, we have that alpha is the arctangent of negative 3/4. Computing that as a decimal on a calculator, we would see that alpha, that reference angle, is negative 36.87 degrees. Therefore, theta would be 360 minus 36.87. We get theta is 323.13 degrees as our direction angle. The next step is to calculate the magnitude of v, which is the square root of 4 squared plus negative 3 squared, and simplifying that, the magnitude of v is the square root of 16 plus 9. The magnitude of v is the square root of 25, which is 5. We can now write v as the magnitude of v times the cosine of theta, comma the sine of theta. We have the vector v is 5 times the cosine of 323.13 degrees, comma the sine of 323.13 degrees.